Hello. If you've seen any of my videos before, any of the stuff I uploaded a few, but also if you, thanks for coming back. It's been a, you're not gone. You won't be able to see them if they're not deleted. I'm not, you know, they're fine videos. I'm not ashamed of them. I don't think they really represent me. It's a little bit silly to have multiple series that never had an episode. But I'm doing this now. I don't know exactly why, but I am. So, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. What I have in front of me right now is Tekkit Classic. If you've been playing this game as long as I have, and if you've been into modded Minecraft in the same way that I have, you might know this pack. This is the pack that the Ogscast played during their Jaffa Factory videos, among other series. Duncan's Lab, Dipsco. Lots of good memories on this pack for me. In a way, playing this pack always kind of feels like coming home, because this was the one that got me into the concept of mods. It was one of the earliest mod packs. In fact, certainly one of the oldest multiplayer mod packs. This was one of the earliest multiplayer versions of the Technic pack. You know, Tekkit was Technic plus Bucket. I know a lot about this mod pack. It's been a long time. I always find it relaxing. So I've decided that I'm just going to play it. Find the other world. Made that to I always end up naming my world something. Been a long time since I played the cool by the volcano. I haven't really even thought about Tekkit Classic for a while. But I think with everything going on in the world, I need somewhere to speak my thoughts to. People who need a little bit of comfort might need someone to listen to. If you've been watching Minecraft content, especially if you've been watching the more niche side of things, you might be familiar with this style of gameplay where someone just sort of plays the game and talks. You might know Nico, for example. I understand Nico's becoming quite popular. You might know Gengar Juice 69, quite inspired by his beta 404 challenge videos. Although, never quite enough to start playing the game myself. But I've always had this idea of YouTube as being a place where you can get comfort from. You know, I'm not in YouTube for, getting rich. Getting into YouTube with the idea of getting rich is kind of a dumb idea anyways, to be honest. Now, all of the YouTubers that I love watching, and part of the reason why I watch them to begin with, because it's comforting sometimes. Sometimes you need a little bit of a distraction, right? You need something to unwind with. And sometimes that something is watching someone play a game. Sometimes that something is listening to them talk. I find that the YouTubers I enjoy the most are they're the ones who have a very genuine connection with that idea. I like Markiplier because he's really real. I like Matthew Patrick because even the game theory is ridiculous, and it's meant to be ridiculous. It's fun to just go on a little journey with him and have fun. He's made it pretty clear that game theory was never really supposed to be serious in any way. It was just, having fun. Playing around with games and seeing what happens. I think that's really the best of social media, is playing around and seeing what happens, connecting with other people. Social media is used to spread so much discouragement and resentment and all of that so often. I think we forget that it can be used as a tool to unify people sometimes. Ultimately, it is one of the greatest things humanity's ever made. We have the ability to communicate with people who are on the other side of the planet instantly, even across language barriers. Have you considered how fantastic that is? How important that is? It is absolutely incredible how far we've come. So that's what I'd like this to be for anyone who cares to sit down and watch me play. I'd like to just talk about the world, talk about my life, what I've been doing. Relax for a bit. That's why I picked Tekkit Classic. There are other mod packs that try to be, ultimate cozy, whatever. But Tekkit has a soft spot in my heart, because you can do a lot with it. This pack only has 41 mods at thereabouts. There's so much that you can do. Modding used to be a lot smaller. Nowadays we look at Minecraft modding and we think of these big, massive content mods. But it used to be. It used to be that every other mod was some tiny little thing that adds another 5 types of TNT, some ore that can be crafted into overpowered weapons. At the time that Tekkit came out, this was really the biggest and best mods that there were, as of them as there are in this pack. Your mods like Buildcraft, Forestry, Industrial Craft. Those were the big name, big ticket mods of the day. They were unique and exciting and absolutely mad. You might look at this and compare it to a mod pack like All the Mod. All the Mods mod packs has so much going on with them. Dozens and dozens of mods together. Everything that the creators can pull together, basically. Use some dozen possibilities for progression. Here, you really only have a couple of content mods. They all work together very well. It's a very small space to play in. If you can find something to do in that small space, that's fantastic. Really all you need. And the Yogscast had their Jaffa factory. I think that's really what I like about older versions. Part of it is because I've been playing for a long time. I started playing this game right around release 1.0. I know it was release 1.0 because I started playing right after potions were added and right before the discount ended for the game being in beta. My uncle, I believe, bought a whole bunch of us kids' accounts all at the same time, and we played together on the same server for quite a while. We still do play together sometimes. In these older versions of the game, there's only so many blocks and items. The creative menu we know only came about later, because there was suddenly so many items they needed to be organized. This version, the creative menu is just one big list. Any blocks and items added by mods just add on to the end of the list. Even then, you look at this, there's only 40 pages and not enough items, and most of those are multi-blocks. There's not a lot in this pack. And yet, I think it's one of the most fun mod packs there's ever been. I think it says a lot that we keep making sequels and remakes of Tekkit. When I tried making videos on YouTube a couple of this, I had this very specific idea of what a YouTube video should be like. And it probably shouldn't surprise you too much if you've been watching YouTube for a while. It was all high production value, edited down, quick commentary, something interesting going on. In a lot of ways, I wanted to be, like one of the more action-packed Hermitcraft episodes. Then again, I think a lot of people who make Minecraft videos for the first want to be Hermitcraft, want to be on Hermitcraft. That's natural. I think it's completely natural to want to be where your heroes are. And for a lot of us, the people who play Hermitcraft are heroes. At the very least, I'm sure some of us consider them friends. Parasocialism. They play the game well, they make good videos. Always fun to see what they're up to. Those of us who are inspired to create, we always want to create things that are similar to stuff that we've been watching that we... Well, yeah, recently I've been enjoying a different kind of Minecraft video. Like I said, this sort of just play and talk video is a lot more popular. When you think about it, this has been how people have been doing videos from the beginning. Direwolf20 has never done extensive editing in his videos, he just cuts around. Ethos never really done extensive editing, and he's one of the oldest Minecraft players known to man. He invented so many concepts, pioneered so many things, and he did all of it with, you know, pretty much the same quality as ever. I'm not saying his videos are low quality. Couldn't be further from the truth. I'm saying that, you know, Etho never cared that much if his videos were perfect. Direwolf never cared if his videos were not for this idea of perfect where everything has to be super fancy and refined. Sometimes perfect is just good enough, and it can be good enough. So I'm just gonna try and make this good enough. I think everyone really needs to try and make their creative good enough. Say perfection is the enemy of done, and if you don't have anything done, then you don't have anything. Bad way to think about it, maybe, but it's the correct way to think about it. That's the creative process. Start doing things not necessarily knowing where you're going. And over time, you slowly refine it. Slowly becomes a little better. A little better. And you can stop where you want to. Because no one's setting rules. You don't have to make everything absolutely the highest possible. Sometimes you can sketch something out and have fun sketching it, and that's all that really matters. I've seen this attitude come back with building in Minecraft too recently. Modern versions of Minecraft, so many blocks. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that the game has so many blocks. I think it's great that there are so many options. Before I had a Minecraft account, I played Minecraft Classic. If you ever played a Minecraft Classic free build server, you know the kind of stuff that got built there. Never super high quality polished stuff that we see today. It never could be. So few blocks and items. And so we got creative. Pixel art was a massive industry, because pixel art is nice and simple to make and it looks good. Easy to make with the 16 colors of wool that we had. And you'd use those blocks for their colors even more than in modern Minecraft. One of the earliest builds I made, I think one of the builds that got me promoted to builder rank on one of these free build servers. Because you ranked up as you built things and then had the admins look at them and verify that you made something cool. It was an office building. The entire thing was just made out of gray wool. They had little cubicles, just sort of divvied off. I don't think I had an elevator or anything, because at the time I don't think I had permissions to use lava and water. You know, if you're too new to know these servers, you know, lava and water weren't just blocks that you could place. You had to use commands in order to get it in place. I'm pretty sure I just, you know, built a simple staircase. I had, you know, 6 floors, maybe. 8th floor, perfectly identical. None of them terribly complicated. Literally just a few boxes with openings on one side. Because, you know, to my kid brain, that's what a cubicle looks like. And, you know, I learned what a cubicle looks like by reading Dilbert. I've never been to an office building. Not that I remembered, at least. It was fun. You look at Minecraft now, and you see these starter bases that are super elaborate. They use like 30 different blocks and items. Takes a couple hours to build. And you know, the majority of players don't even know where to start building something like that. And it's really no wonder, because some of these are made with such advanced techniques. And I think a lot of people look at that, and it ends up killing their enthusiasm for building in this game. Because they think, I can't make these super detailed builds that all of the professional Minecraft players do. I can't even build the ones that people put on Reddit. I must not be any good at building. Well, the truth is that Minecraft has never really been about these picture-perfect builds. It's about creativity. It's about putting down what you want to put down. At the end of the day, if you build what you want to build, that's impressive by itself. Your build doesn't need to be super detailed. I've seen a couple people come to this realization recently, where if you just build something, and it looks cool, and it's what you wanted it to be, that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to have advanced gradients, you don't need to make it with 20 different kinds of blocks. It just needs to be. On that note, I think maybe I should put a house down. Forest is probably a good place. I always like forests. I think it's because they're easy to build in, and it's really easy to get wood. Huh, what's that? That lava? I think that's what lava looks like with this texture pack. If you're not familiar with this texture pack, this is Fax Pure BD Craft. It is an old texture pack. And this is interesting. The volcano killed a bunch of trees. Well, I'll take the saplings, why not? This is Fax Pure BD Craft. It's a very old texture pack. Probably not the oldest, but certainly one of the oldest HD texture packs I know of. And, you know, if you watched the Java Factory videos or anything like that, you'll know the Yogscast used this pack when they were playing Tekkit. So, I went out and I found a version of this pack for Tekkit. Yep. Lava, alright. I don't really have any particular reason to use this resource pack. Well, in this version it's a texture pack, but I just think it's cool. Always liked it, and that's really all that you need. I actually used to use texture packs a lot. Wonder how many people have stopped using texture packs in recent. The new textures that come with Minecraft are really good. They were kind of rocky somewhere in the middle of the redesigns, but Jasper got there in the end. I think now they're really good. They're very professional and nice. And in a way, that kind of makes me like them less. At the same time, yeah, making a texture pack is so much more effort than it used to be. I used to make my own texture packs, back in the day when all it took was editing the texture file, the one singular texture file that came with the game. But now all of the textures are split up into multiple files, and it's such a hassle. And if you want to change, you know, grass, you have to find the grass overlay texture, and the dirt texture, and the grass top texture, and the grass side texture. And they're all different images, and you have to change all of them. I don't think that's stopped people from making texture packs. Probably the opposite, frankly. But I think it's more effort to maintain a texture pack, especially an older one now. Not that a lot of people haven't done so. But I look at the textures the game has now, and that's what the game looks like to me. There's so many new things being added constantly, it feels like, that texture packs have to be making new textures all the time. Not that they ever didn't, of course. In all of the promotional material and every video I'm seeing of everyone playing, because no one plays with a texture pack online anymore, it's just what the game looks like. So, end up not using them. Not for any particular reason, just because I don't. So in a way, it's kind of refreshing to be playing with a texture pack. Even though, in a way, I'm playing with the texture pack because, to me, this is what Tekkit looks like. But I think this is a really good texture pack, besides. Just HD enough, it looks really great. And it's got support for all of the mods that are included, which is always a bonus. Yeah, I'm not even sure I know what some of the industrial craft blocks look like without the texture as well as I do with them. I've always liked these blocks like basalt and marble. Marble's a lot easier to... It has this nice tile texture, this texture pack on. Basalt, you know, it's cobblestones. I think the black is a great contrast. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna make a house, and I'm gonna build my foundation out of basalt, I think. Looks like a great little top right here in the middle. Look at that, there's a cave. I can turn that into a basement or something. If you're watching this video and, you know, everyone who sees it hasn't clicked off because I'm just rambling to myself while playing the game, leave a comment. Tell me how your day's going. I'll read it. Know when commenting, so I have plenty of time to read every comment that is on the videos. I'll respond. We can chat a little bit. Let me know how stuff's going. Ask some questions. Maybe if you bring up something that you'd like me to talk about it, I'll talk about it in a future video. I don't know how frequently I'm going to do these. You know, what my goal is, necessarily, other than to have a good time. I think I'll just record them as I have time. I'll do some things off camera, I'm sure. But I'll just do it as I have time. I won't worry about it too much. I'm gonna enjoy sharing this mod pack with some people. And by the same token, if you have any feedback, if you think what I'm doing is stupid, if you've played this pack before and you know mistakes I'm making, if you just have any comments about the way I'm doing this, and you think these videos are lame and I should I should change one thing or another in order to make them better, let me know that too. I don't mind. This is an engagement. My channel has like 10 subscribers. I don't really need your comments for engagement, because I'm not going to get much engagement at this point anyways. I don't really feel right, you know, tricking people into engagement anyways. If the channel grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm just doing this because I'd like the chance to. Getting dark again. I suppose I'd better sleep. You know, the last time I played this pack, years ago, I had such a hard time finding any ores that weren't copper. I don't remember. Yeah, this pack has 2 different types of copper ore and 2 different copper ingots from 2 different mods. Not to mention nether copper ore, which, you know, just smelts into whatever this copper ore is. Smelts into that ingot. I don't remember if this pack has a ore dictionary or not. It looks like both ingots are usable for the same thing, so I suppose it must. I guess the biggest trouble I'm going to have is that some of these aren't going to, they're not gonna stack with each other properly. There is only 1 copper nugget, so I suppose if both ingots craft into the same nuggets, I can just craft them into nuggets and then back into ingots. But no, I had a lot of trouble finding any ores that weren't copper. And it's mostly because there is a lot of copper. Having multiple types of one ore will do that. Part of it's also because copper was very common. I believe what ended up happening was I was getting really impatient about getting into, what's it called? Equivalent Exchange 2. Equivalent Exchange requires a lot of diamonds if you're not familiar with it. Like, the entire mod is basically just a gigantic diamond sink. And I couldn't find any diamonds. So I'm pretty sure what I ended up doing was I just cheated and I traded in like 8 stacks of copper for a stacks of diamond and used it to speed my way forward a little bit. It was fun. I don't regret it. Maybe I'll do that here, maybe I won't. Maybe recording videos will hold me to a higher standard about cheating. Speaking of which, I should turn off cheat mode so I don't do that again. Oh! Didn't realize there were connected textures by default. That's pretty cool. I guess it's probably because this pack comes with MC Patcher. You know, that used to be necessary back in the day for these HD textures. I really just got this off the Tekkit launcher, though. It's pretty easy to find, so I don't know what went into making it available. That's just my guess. I'm not gonna complain, because I think that connected textures are super cool. I used to make my own connected textures just to have them. Of course, now there are a lot of packs with way better connected textures than I can make. There's a lot of packs that are, you know, just way better than I can make in general. So far, have you seen Caelesti? Maybe I'll have to put a link to that in the description if I remember. Caelesti has some ridiculous features. For example, they've got glass that has connected textures and flipped UVs on the inside so you can see the backside of the glass through the front side of the glass. Because the guy making the pack found it kind of annoying that you just can't see... Excuse me. Found it kind of annoying that you can't see the backside of the glass when you look through the front. You know, that didn't used to be possible. It's only possible because we have custom block models now, and even then that pack uses a few mods that increase the amount of stuff you can do. Really crazy how far this game's come. Then again, yeah, it's been 15 years at this point. Really not that surprising. The community's grown and changed a lot, and the game's grown and changed. I don't really miss what the game used to be today. I do think it's a lot more complicated now than it used to be. Yeah, this game used to be very approachable, very understandable. I think nowadays a new player getting into Minecraft for the first time would probably have a lot more trouble with it than I did when I first played. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, the game's just becoming advanced. I mean, look at this, I tried to hold right-click and drag. That's not a feature yet. It's the little things that make the game what it is, little bits of polish. Yeah, I'm a game developer, I should know something about polish. Very important to making a game as good as it possibly can be. Of course, I'm not a very good game developer, I've only made the one game so far. I'm working on others. Currently, I'm working on drafting out an interactive fiction game, kinda based on role-playing games. Inspired by, my time with Disco Elysium. This little game called The Uncle That Works at Nintendo, if you've ever heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, I think you should either go play it, or you should go watch the Game Grumps or Markiplier play it, because it's an absolutely fantastic... But The Uncle That Works at Nintendo, yeah, not to spoil the game too much, it's got a little secret true ending in there. That's a little bit tough to find. It kind of depends on you managing to get one of the other endings first. If you go play it or check it out, you'll see what I mean. It gave me this idea for this game based on time travel, where part of the gimmick of the game... I'm gonna go get some... Part of the gimmick of the game, at least if it stays in the creative process, it might get cut down. But the idea is... Okay, I'm gonna give you another recommendation. I read a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff on Webtoon, specifically. A lot of isekai, lit RPG stuff, what have you. One thing that I've been reading is this story called The Night Only Lives Today, or as the translated light novel is called, The Eternally Regressing Knight. The whole premise of The Night Only Lives Today Oh, that's marble. That's the marble I was telling you about. The premise of the Knight Only Lives Today is that this guy, Encred, is not particularly talented. He always dreamed of becoming a knight. In this world, a knight is essentially a super soldier. They are the best of the best, a one-man army. With them on your side, you're going to win a battle unless the enemy pulls out their knights. Even squires, knights in training, are incredibly powerful. So, pretty standard European fantasy fare, to be honest. What makes this story special, as you might have guessed from the name, is that Encred, despite the fact that he's not very talented traditionally, is incredibly perseverant. And he ends up picking up this good luck charm from some old woman, you know, kind of gypsy stereotype, I think. He picks up this charm that makes it so that anytime he dies, and he ends up dying a lot, he wakes back up at the start of the day before he died. And he has a chance to do it again. And this is supposed to be a curse. The idea is that it's supposed to be demotivating. There's no way that he can possibly get through these situations and live. Fate has decided that he is going to die. But he's incredibly persistent. He doesn't really care what fate thinks. He sees this curse as the opportunity to train some more. So, Encred is actually the leader of the Misfit Squadron. They are the 7th squad in the 7th Division and the 7th Platoon in this army, something like that. Or maybe it was 666, I don't remember exactly. Point is, very unlucky number. I'm pretty sure it was 6. I think the joke in the original language is supposed to be that it's the number associated with death, which I'm pretty sure is 6. The point is, this squad is made up of soldiers in the army who were too unruly to put anywhere else. All of them are ridiculously talented. All of them could up and leave at any time, and no one would be able to tell them otherwise. They're all absurdly strong, and they don't listen to anyone but Encred. So Encred ends up having them teach him particular tricks. He gets the more roguish one to teach him how to listen to things. One of them teaches him how to, you know, be unflinching in the face of danger so that he can face enemies head on. One of them teaches him a technique for throwing knives. It's all very fun. And the entire loop of this is that every single time Encred is faced with a challenge, he ends up taking it as an opportunity to spend months or years practicing, honing his skills, getting better. Taking this opportunity he's been given to become the best he possibly can be. And over time, he's not necessarily monstrously strong, at least not in the part that the story's gotten to so far. But he's really tough. He has learned a whole host of skills, and it has put him heads and shoulders above where he was before. And so that's the premise for the game. It started from the uncle that works at Nintendo, and it started from Disco Elysium, and the fact that I really love what Disco Elysium does with the passive skill checks. The whole red and white check distinction and all of that. So the whole premise here is to take something that's kind of like Disco Elysium, where it's kind of this tabletop system. There's my house. And build it out to where you're being put in these situations that are dangerous and difficult to get through. And when you fail, and you're expected to fail, you start back at the beginning of the loop with practice and knowledge. Any skill checks that you failed on the previous loop, you have a little bonus to succeeding this time. Any skill checks that you did manage to succeed on, you automatically succeed on again, because you've done it once, you can do it again. And more importantly, you come back with extra knowledge. You know what's going to happen, even when you shouldn't. You can act on things. You can go out of your way to make choices that you would have no reason to make prior. And by doing this, you slowly train up your various skills, including the ones that you don't start with a high rating in. You gradually become more comfortable and confident. And just like Enkrid in this story, you slowly become more practiced and more capable. That's the idea, at least. I don't know how well it'll necessarily turn out, but so far I'm enjoying developing it. When I record again, I'll probably spend some time ranting about the design of it. My throat hurts. Unfortunately, I made the stupid decision to start doing this while I was already kinda sick, so all of this talking is not necessarily great for me. And remember when you had to do this to craft large amounts of items? Everyone had their own technique. That's the one I like using. I used to enjoy watching Rythian play Minecraft because he had this technique where he'd sort of rhythmically go back and forth from slot to slot, filling in what needed to be filled in. I think there's a little bit of poetry to how you manage your inventory in these versions of Minecraft. And again, maybe I'm just being a little poetic. I think this is a good start to a house. I might change the floor out for marble, because I really do love the look of marble. I mean, look at that. It's a perfect flooring material. Last time I made my entire house out of it. Maybe I'll build a basement and I'll put marble out of that. So far, this isn't really the best demonstration of what Technic is all about, because I haven't gotten into the machines or anything yet. But that'll come with time. And speaking of time, well, I've already been recording this for a while now. Not sure exactly how. Looks like about 40 minutes. So, frankly, unless I'm cutting some of this down, it's probably about time for me to stop. But you know what? Let's take that breaking as a sign to stop. This is my house so far. I'll come back to it on camera, I'll finish it off. I'll get back to you. If you decided to stick around for all of this, even though I'm really just talking to myself incessantly, thanks. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, let me know what you enjoyed, didn't enjoy, let me know how your day went, just like I said before. I think I'm gonna have fun doing this. I'm not really doing this for any particular reason other than to enjoy myself. As long as I'm having fun, I think I'm doing it right. So, thanks for watching. It's kind of funny. Feel like coming back again later? Subscribe, come back again later. If you don't, well, thanks for watching this far. If you didn't watch this far, well, you're not gonna see this anyways, but thank you for clicking on the video. Till next time, enjoy yourselves, okay? Bye.